Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of October 25th. This week we are going to jump right in here, Aquarius, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. But at the end of the reading, by the way, I am going to pull 3 yes or no question cards. So if you have questions, I'll give you time to think of your questions. If you don't have questions, that's fine as well. I will be just putting them all together as one question. It's a really good reading. It's really good. And by the way, I'm using the Wheel of the Year Tarot, if you're wondering what this deck is. But I'm cracking up because I literally just said to someone, I don't remember which sign, that the Chariot, I've noticed just over the past couple weeks, the Chariot keeps showing up either as here or as the outcome. And even when I do just the regular 9-card spread, it shows up as a center card or it's showing up as in the outcome position. So clearly, there's some sort of change going on. It seems like a collective energy. We'll talk about that when we get there. In your current energies, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Really good, really nice. Ten of Pentacles is kind of like everything you want in your life. And so I feel like for some of you, you are currently either experiencing abundance or things are going okay for you. The reason I say okay is because of the Knight of Wands as your crossing energy. Some of you could be dealing with an Aries, and they could be inconsistent, or you could just be dealing with a person who is inconsistent, or again, you could be dealing with a situation that is inconsistent. So I feel kind of like you want the Ten of Pentacles. Everybody wants a Ten of Pentacles, you know? And the Ten of Pentacles is something different for everyone. It could be family. It could be you getting married and having a family. It could be you getting married, having a family, and building a business. It could be, anything that you want. So it's like everybody wants this, but I feel for you, your crossing energy is the Knight of Wands. So for some of you, I literally do feel kind of like, I kind of feel 2 ways. Number one, I feel like the Emperor is good in certain ways in your life because I feel like part of it is you. The other part I feel could be this crossing energy, the Knight of Wands. Could be an inconsistent person and they could be inconsistent, I feel, emotionally as well. And it's kind of like blocking you. That's what I feel like saying is like there's just like blocking energy is what I would say here. So I feel for some of you, it's kind of like you feel blocked by a person. For others, I feel that it could be more kind of like this, just maybe there's something that's inconsistent in your life, like a job or a business that just isn't producing as well as you would like. In the area of your thoughts, you have the 3 of Cups. This is a card of celebration and happiness. This is a card of your community as well. I'm pretty sure I said this to you in your last reading as well. I'm getting the same exact thing here, Aquarius. I'm seeing this more as like health, wealth, happiness, or, it doesn't have to be those things. But like I'm seeing it as 3 things in your life where it's like when they come together, I feel like you will feel very accomplished and very happy. But there's like something is getting in the way here. I can't get away from it. It keeps popping into my head as a blockage right here for whatever reason. Again, I read intuitively, and that's what I'm seeing is like some sort of something that you feel maybe is getting in the way of you having this. In the area of your foundation, you have the High Priestess. So I feel like you could be very intuitive at this time. I would be trusting your intuition as well, Aquarius, with the High Priestess. I also feel like you need to look into anything that is like mysterious to you or anything where you don't have all the answers. The High Priestess can represent mystery, but it doesn't say like allow something to be a mystery. It says figure it out, learn about it, right? Peek behind the curtain. So how do we do that with the High Priestess? Well, the High Priestess, normally behind her, she has a tapestry that has pomegranates on it. Pomegranates are the fruit of the underworld, so it can represent making a sacrifice or kind of like letting something go. And if you can do that, then usually you can see kind of like what is behind the curtain here, Aquarius. In your recent past, you have the Page of Swords. So I feel for some of you, it's like you've been curious. I feel like something has struck your curiosity. I do feel like things have been like a little bit inconsistent with the Page of Swords. I also feel like you're trying to see, like, look at this Page of Swords. Like, this Page of Swords has this telescope thing, eyeglass, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, looking through here, it's like the Page of Swords sees the Ten of Pentacles with the blocking energy. The Page of Swords, looking further, sees the Emperor probably blocking the energy. So it's like there's something that is blocking here. You next in the area of your near future, you have the Emperor. Like I said, for some of you, I feel like this is a blocking energy. Could be a person that you are needing to move past or move away from here. I feel like a challenge to doing that. Right next to it, Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is, can be a wounded warrior, but it can also be boundaries or needing to put up boundaries. So maybe you're having a hard time putting boundaries up with a person. For others, I feel like this can represent just more getting into your masculine energy side of things, right? Needing to be more bold, more assertive, needing to go for things, really needing to charge forward. And that's kind of like what I feel here for you, Aquarius. I get this feeling of just like, needing to make sure you don't miss out on something. And I'm not saying this is like love or anything else. It's going to be different for all of you. Your 10 of Pentacles is different for all of you, but I feel like you're kind of like, I get this sense here of waiting for something to change that just isn't going to change. The one that is going to change is you. So it's like either you need to make the change, or like, I feel like a situation here is not going to change. It could be another person, right? For others, it could just be a situation that you're in. And here over the next few months, you have the Hermit. So I feel like you are going to be making the change. I feel like you have made up your mind to make some sort of change in your life. It's like you're deciding to go through the darkness, which is, again, I feel for whatever reason, this way over here, it's like I feel like that not wanting to experience the darkness, It's like, let's say you're dealing with a person in love who just isn't changing and you want to leave the relationship. It's like maybe up until this point, you have not wanted to face the darkness. You have not wanted to be alone or have not wanted to leave the person. Same thing in work. Maybe your job sucks and maybe you are just like, I don't want to have to go look for another one. Totally understand, right? But I feel like you're finally getting pushed to the point here. I always quote Les Brown because he's like my favorite person ever. But he has a story about a dog that's laying on a nail, basically. Spoiler alert, right? But he tells a story about I think it's Les Brown, where a guy moves into a house, his neighbor's dog is always laying on his deck, howling and howling and howling. So finally one day the guy goes over and says, "Hey, what is wrong with your dog?" And the guy says, "He's laying on a nail." And he says, "Why doesn't he get off the nail?" And the guy says, "It's not painful enough," right? It kind of represents the fact that sometimes we don't make a change until it's painful enough. For some of you, I feel like something, and the reason I'm saying this is that I feel like the problem is that something is not painful enough for you here, Aquarius, where to make the change. This is why I'm saying I feel like you're going to have to make the change on your own, To me, I get these vibes here that there is something better for you, but again, you're going to have to make the change. And I also feel there is a sense of time here. There is a sense of urgency because it's like if you're waiting, you're going to just be waiting for the cows to come home. And before you know it, it's like you're going to be old. You're going to be old, right? So I would get moving here, Aquarius, on making some sort of change. Some of you, I feel like, could be walking away from a person. It's like you have to see what's behind the curtain. It's like you don't know. Maybe you're fearing walking away from a person because you don't know if you'll find another person, or you're afraid you're going to be alone. And the truth is, you won't know unless you make the sacrifice. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Nine of Wands. I do feel like you are going to have to need to put boundaries up against your closest relationships. I feel like for a lot of you, your closest relationships have been tested recently. And I'm talking about the past maybe month or so, maybe 2 months. And I feel like it's all about boundaries, like making sure people don't walk all over you with that Nine of Wands energy. So I feel like some of you need to make sure you're not being taken advantage of. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Two of Cups. Could be love. Some of you, I feel, could be discovering love here very easily. This is true love as well. Two of Cups is like someone that you can talk to, someone you have a great connection with. So I feel for a lot of you that that's what's going on here. And your outcome is the Chariot. I mean, really, I probably didn't need to babble on for 9 minutes because really this is your entire reading is a Chariot. The Chariot driver is normally driving away from his city, right? He is driving away from everything that he has always known to go discover a mystery. Normally, there are two sphinxes in front of him. They represent a mystery, right? The sphinxes are also holding on to their tails. It kind of represents the fact that they have a good understanding of their past. They know where they have come from. They're not letting go of the past, but they are moving away from it, if that makes sense. So for some of you, I feel like this is kind of like saying, just because you're making a change doesn't mean you have to completely wipe everything out from your past, or it doesn't mean you have to forget who you are. Sometimes I think that can be a fear. That can be the reason we don't make a change, because we don't want to forget who we were or whatever. But again, the Sphinx is on a traditional Chariot card. They kind of represent the fact that you won't. This card, it's also a card of as above, so below. So I feel like you need to use your powers of manifestation to kind of like get what you desire. But let's clarify this here, Aquarius, and let's see what we get. Here in the middle, you have the Tower. Like I said, this is something that has been a thorn in your side, Aquarius. Could be a person for some of you. For others, it's a situation. The Tower really tells me that I feel for some of you that you could be having multiple Tower moments with a person, if it's a person, or a situation. For others, I feel the Tower builds up to a point and then comes crashing down. We can choose to jump out of the Tower. The person in the red there, they're going like this. They see that the Tower is crumbling down. They know that they have to jump out of the Tower. The other person's like totally shocked, like how are they surprised? The Tower is on fire, but they're surprised. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this Tower that was on fire, I'm getting pushed out of it, right? So it's like, don't be the person, the clueless person in the blue. Be the person in the red. You see something coming down, take the leap of faith, right? The Tower is actually a good card. It represents something coming down to earth, and the Chariot, as above, so below. You need to bring something down to earth. With the Three of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands here. Kind of like I said, like hard work here. He's walking towards that village. He's about to release a burden. I kind of like this. Again, I'm not seeing the Three of Cups as in the sense of community. I'm seeing it, which, don't get me wrong. That's important in your life, but I'm seeing it more as, like I said, health, wealth, happiness, or, maybe it's three other things for you. Maybe it's, children, spirituality, health. Something like that, right? So it could be whatever is important to you in your life. But I feel like it's like three things coming together. And by having those three things together, it's like you're accomplishing this journey. With the High Priestess, you have the High Priest, the Hierophant. So I feel for a lot of you that you need outside the box thinking of the High Priestess, right? The Hierophant is a card of initiation. He thinks a certain way. It's a card of tradition. But I feel like the High Priestess is like a little bit more on the creative side of things. So I feel like thinking outside the box would be a good idea. It could be marriage as well. With the Emperor, what do you know? Five of Wands, conflict, competition, almost like it's everything that I was just saying in your entire reading. This is a blockage right here. I saw it as a blockage right away, and that's not even what that position represents, but just, again, I read intuitively, and that's what I was getting there, is some sort of conflict, competition, something that's a thorn in your side, something that's like standing there. It's almost like an immovable force. It's like if this is a person, you're dealing with a person who is extremely, extremely stubborn, is what I get off of that card. I don't really, the Emperor can be a card of stubbornness. Do I really consider it a card of stubbornness? No. But intuitively, that's what I'm getting here for you. Again, if it's a job or a business, I feel like it's just things aren't changing, and I feel like that things could change. And that's all you need to know, right? With the Hermit here, Aquarius, you have the Nine of Pentacles. You have everything you need to go on this journey, to climb to the top of the mountain. Nine of Pentacles is a great card. It's like pre-Empress energy. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Ten of Cups, happy home, happy family. Again, this is your area of closest relationships, not just love, but all relationships. And again, if you've been having some problems or if you have to set boundaries, Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty. It seems to me that over the past few weeks, maybe you have had some difficulties or challenges in your close relationships. And to me, this is like the healing of that is what I would say to you here. With that card. So I kind of like this. I have like something popping into my head here as well, Aquarius, where it's like, I do feel like you need to stick up for yourself. If you never have stuck up for yourself, or if you have been raised to be overly nice, for example, which a lot of us have been, I believe, and I'm not saying don't be nice, right? But we don't want to be walked all over. If you're only always nice and only always doing things for people, not only do they grow to expect it, but it like triggers a part of our brain where you're not memorable, right? If you're always doing nice things to people, it's like our brains are set up to detect, kind of fight or flight, right? But our brains are set up to detect things that could be seen as a threat. If you're always saying yes to people, for example, then you're never being seen as a threat. I'm not saying you want to be seen as a threat, right? But you don't want to be seen as someone who can be taken advantage of. And so sometimes we have to say no, especially if we don't want to do something. I think it's more important that we come from a place of like honesty with ourselves. Like I used to work at this cafe. I'll just give you a story. And it's popping into my head here. I feel like it's important for one of you, so that's why I'm saying this. I used to work at this cafe. I would always say yes to my boss every single time he wanted me to cover a shift, right? And I didn't want to. It's like I should have said no, right? And you know what happened? I started to get resentful. I started to become, just like a little jerk when I was there because of it. But it's like, whose fault was it? It was my fault. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault. I could have said no. Like there were times where I wanted to. I could have said yes during those times, right? So it's like being a nice person, doesn't necessarily make you a nice person. Doesn't mean that you're a good person, right? At that time, was I a good person? Probably not. I wasn't doing my job well. I wasn't, sometimes I'd be mean, right? So it's like, was I a good person? No, right? And that's popping into my head here, where it's like, I feel like there are things where maybe you need to say no to people. It doesn't make you a jerk, doesn't make you a bad person. You're living your truth when you do that. And that's what I would say there. With the Two of Cups, you have the Fool card here. I definitely feel like you need to take a risk in love. Some of you, I feel, have your eye on a person here. And, I feel like you have to take a risk. For others, it's like you could be dealing with a person, I feel. But it's like not off the ground yet. And I would say it'd be worth the risk. With the Chariot, you have the Two Wands. He is waiting at the top of the castle. It's like he's waiting for the perfect moment when there never will be a perfect moment. That is your entire reading there, Aquarius, is your last two cards. I feel like it's saying you have to kind of stop waiting. Remember what I was saying about you could wait till the cows come home, but things are never going to change here. So I feel like for some of you, it's almost like saying you could be dealing with a situation that is extremely stubborn, that isn't changing. That doesn't mean you don't have to change, right? So there you go. I hope that makes sense. We're going to pull 3 yes or no question cards here, Aquarius. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. There's actually 2 cards here in this third one, but we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Feel free to pause this reading if you need to think of your questions. If you don't have questions, that's fine too. We're putting them all together. For question number 1, I would say yes, 8 of Pentacles. Yes, definitely. I feel like you've earned this. For question number 2, 6 Wands, yes, success, absolutely. And for question number 3, no, Tower and the Magician, tricky energy here. I would say no for question number 3. Putting it all together, I feel like you are going to be very successful. Tower, right here, Magician, New Beginning. Tower does say that there probably is going to be a Tower moment. There's no doubt about it that, like, if you're leaving this person, will it cause a Tower moment? Yes, probably. But you have a choice. It's like you could be the person in the red that is taking a leap of faith. I feel like you need to really, it's like the vibes I get here is like really need to think about what you want in this reading. That's what I was like kind of like saying over here about needing to be someone who is memorable. And again, I don't remember where I learned this, but I think I was reading a book or I was watching something on YouTube probably, and it was all about how people who always are saying yes are not memorable, and how it's not a good thing. Like, I think we're raised that we shouldn't be selfish, but really we should be selfish in a certain way, right? That doesn't mean we can't help people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't do things for other people, but we need to be able to help ourselves as well at a certain point. And that's kind of like, I'm picking up on that energy here. It's kind of funny because someone reamed me out for basically saying the same thing last week, and guess what? They're forgettable because I banned them. Right? So they've been forgotten because they're too nice. So, like I said, I think there's your proof. And again, if I can't stress it enough, I'm not saying don't help other people, but if we can't help ourselves, then it's like, how can we help other people, right? So that's like what I'm getting here. I do like this reading though, because there is a significant change. I would be worried about your reading if this wasn't here, right here, the Hermit. Because again, I get this sense of time in this, like with these 3 cards right here, 3 Cups, Emperor, Hermit. It's kind of like saying, if you don't make the change now, you're never going to make the change. So it's like, I feel like this reading is encouraging you. Pretty weird, pretty good. I like it. So thank you for being here, Aquarius. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.